Uh, Hello world. Today we're going to be doing part 3 of the video about science stuff. No, not really. It's like geoengineering, climate change, and that whole bit. So to get us started on part 3, that is Cody.
And that's Kyle. And so I really just want to finish up what we were talking about on the, excuse me, documentary that is going to be linked. And I call it the documentary because that's what it is. It's a 42-minute video on YouTube. And seriously, if you guys are going to watch anything out of the 4 people who watch this, if you're going to watch anything, watch that video. It's really good in my opinion. And that's actually one of my last notes on it is that the conclusion is good. I didn't write down a bunch of stuff about the conclusion because I want you guys to watch it and form your own opinions. But the conclusion of that video is really good. It talks about how we are facing a crisis and the way that we deal with this crisis needs to be scrutinized, and we need to deal with it in the right way. And so that's what we're trying to do. And that leads directly into my next note, which is that this is relatively new science. We need to do way more research into this. And that's kind of what you said, I think maybe in part 1, is that like this is so new. We need to figure this out, but at the same time, we have to research it. We have to do the science in the right way.
Yeah, to expand on what I was making earlier is that and you'll love this because you're a science guy. Is that we need to not be so American or Western centric in
Correct.
in this pursuit.
Right.
Like I was bringing up earlier, and I get it, Brazil is whatever part of Western civilization, but they specifically, in my opinion, the policy leaders there, their government needs to have a position in this. They need to be invested, and they also need to be doing research. Countries like Brazil, India, China, yeah, these countries where it's yeah, I feel like we kind of do get bogged down in oh, what's going on in America? What's happening here? Yeah, exactly. Science doesn't give a shit. Science is global.
Yes, it is. Yep. And science is beyond global. Yeah.
Dollar?
Right, exactly. So let's not go there. So
No. It's interstellar. So.
Yeah, I know. The next video is a short video from The Economist, and yeah, it's a great video. I actually really like this video, and I'm probably gonna, yeah, it's one of my notes. It advocates from both sides, and so it legitimately gives the voice to what seems to me to be an accredited scientist. I forget, he works at probably some university somewhere. But anyways, he argues against geoengineering and about its detriments and things like that. And so that's again why I think this video is good, is that it gives a voice to both sides. Go ahead.
I feel like the only argument from that side, and I feel that's kind of why, and I will talk about these two because it's like a 4-minute video, so they can't really give justice or credence to that argument, and that's really the thing is how much credence and appreciation or acknowledgement does that side actually deserve?
Besides all of that, what I'll say now maybe gives you an idea of them having more credence. In that, what if we start geoengineering and can't stop?
Yeah. Damn, dude. Exactly.
Right.
So is that
That's what I'm saying. There are smart arguments. There are smart arguments, but like, come at me with the smart argument. Don't come at me with a large scale spraying program conspiracy. Like that's what it is. That's what the slap thing is. It's a conspiracy.
yes,
Um,
exactly.
one of my first notes on the video from The Economist reminds me of what I watched today, which was the Jon Stewart, The Problem episode about climate change. And my note is that we still need to focus on the fossil fuel industry. And I'm just going to go on a little bit of a tangent here because for those of you who haven't seen the Jon Stewart episode that I'm talking about, major spoilers. So he literally is like dog shitting on recycling and everything that you could do as an individual because 71% of the greenhouse emissions released in the atmosphere come from 100 companies and big corporations. Right. You think those 100 companies are the small little mom and pop? No. On that list of companies is McDonald's, BP, Exxon, obviously the big oil guys. But like Walmart probably has an extremely high emissions rate.
So they do a really good job of making like the zero waste argument in that Netflix show, The Politician. And that is when I want to go up to that girl and be like, "You're dumb. You don't know
I
what
want to slap you in the face."
yeah, be like, "Oh yeah, me going zero waste is gonna have an effect on anything."
Yeah. And just so the people, again, the 4 people who watch this know that I actually know that what I'm talking about is hands down the most efficient thing that you could do on a personal level to affect your carbon footprint, which was a thing promoted by like big oil, is like, oh, your personal carbon footprint is what's ruining the world. So you should work on that. But besides the point, the main thing you could do as an individual is become a vegan. And I will never do that because I will never stop eating beef, chicken, pork, whatever. So, yeah. Recycling? No. Nope, not recycling. Becoming a vegan is hands down the biggest thing you can do for the environment.
Yeah, that sucks. Vegan.
Yeah, I'm not going to fucking do that. So,
yeah, that sucks.
But my note is that we need to focus on the fossil fuel industry, and that's the thing. It's like we don't need to focus on short-sighted things. We need to focus on the big picture and the people who are truly destroying our atmosphere, climate, whatever.
Yeah, and that's why I'll go back to my big picture idea is that it's not just us. We need, and I keep saying it, we need Brazil and India and China to get on board with this.
Yes. Well, and so my wondering there is out of those questions or out of those countries who have agreed to the Paris Agreement, because Paris Agreement is actually very not groundbreaking. I would say groundbreaking, but yeah, it's good. It's a good thing for the environment. But anyways, getting back to my notes, one thing that I feel, or no, one thing that they argue in this video that is a good thing to argue is that this shouldn't be a binary thing. We can do one thing or we can do the other to help the climate crisis. And so what I wrote down is that we should be exploring geoengineering and all those things and doing the science behind it, but we should also be enacting legislation or whatever to cut emissions. We need to figure out a way to cut emissions. And that's all there is to it. It shouldn't be binary, it shouldn't be geoengineering and cutting emissions. We should be doing both.
The problem is between where unfortunately, a lot of people are falling is like, doesn't mean like it's happening or it's not happening. There's just a ton of people who just don't care.
Yep.
Yeah, unfortunately. Once again, the complacency when it comes to anthropogenic climate change.
Yep. Yeah. Good answer. Again, kind of an esoteric word, but anthropogenic, yes. Sorry, I know you don't like being accused of esoteric.
No, and like, yeah, somebody, I don't appreciate being called dumb, and somebody called me dumb recently, so I was like, really? You think I'm a dumb guy? Okay.
And I don't appreciate feeling dumb, which is what we've talked about.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And so,
yeah.
Last thing on this video is it actually comes back to what I was talking about, and it's like ocean science, and it's literally like in this video, it's these guys spraying clouds over the ocean, and they're like, we're doing this to try to fix the Great Barrier Reef. And because the Great Barrier Reef is going through what's called bleaching. And so, yeah, again, this is like, do you even know what that is? Yeah. Yeah. So the Great Barrier Reef is going through bleaching, and they're trying to release clouds to prevent that from happening. And I absolutely love oceanography.
Yeah.
Well, no, because oceanography is the mapping of the ocean, right?
No, it was what I was talking about earlier, and there's like all these different sciences that it's like it crosses all of the planes.
It's the spheres, it's the biosphere, the geosphere, the atmosphere. It's all spheres. They're all spheres.
I love oceanography too, because like you brought that up, and it's just
we
like,
don't know.
Yep,
we just don't fucking know.
Well, maybe not compared to you, but like my interest is piqued.
No, what I'm saying is by we, I mean the collective we, dude.
Oh,
everything about the ocean, I'm not going to say the R word, but you're not very smart if you think you know everything about the ocean, because it's literally like the great unknown. So, yeah.
We know about as much about space as we do the deep ocean. Yeah. So,
right. So the final thing is, this is all disputed science. And I love that. Science should be disputed.
Yeah.
That's all there is. That's what I would have to say to finish it off.
Yeah. And there are a lot of people who are being recently who have been like, oh, Scientology, like it's not Scientology, but like the idea of not Scientology itself. I'm sorry, I don't even know why I said that, but the idea of like secularism and the embrace of like scientific knowledge is like a religion in itself.
No, it's not.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking.
Because you know what doesn't change? Religion. Religion doesn't change. Your scripture doesn't change. Sure, your analysis or interpretation of said scripture might change, and pastors or priests or whatever might have their own interpretation or analysis of said scripture, but the scripture doesn't change. You know, it does change over time. A science textbook, because the science textbook should change over time.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's not like the Quran, the New Testament, the Bhagavad Gita.
They don't change.
It's not like these things are going to change. They're just not. They are scriptures, like you said, and they are fixed.
Right. So All right, that was a great conversation, and I will actually finish this off because it's way too late my time because I'm on the East Coast. So knowledge is power, folks.